Shri Vivek Joshi ji, respected Secretary DFS, my esteemed colleague Shri P.R. Jaishankar ji, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I have been given very good morning to all of you. I have been given this responsibility of taking you through the journey of IIFCL at the rate of 18. That is now, I can say that today we have become adult because of being at 18 years of age. And this journey has been tumultuous as the facts and the figures suggest. If we go through this journey, 2006 was the year in which this institution was formed. And we are fortunate to have our founder chairman, MD, Mr. Kohli here amongst us. I think he was just sharing that the company started with one employee, and the first employee is also with us today. So we are blessed to have both the first employee as well as the founder chairman with us. Of course, any institution starts with a humble beginning, so do the IIFCL. And now in 2008, IIFCL UK was incorporated. That is one of our subsidiaries, sir. This subsidiary was incorporated in UK and is a standalone entity, but wholly owned by IIFCL. In 2010, these are the marquee years wherein some of the significant developments took place in the life of this institution. The takeout finance scheme was initiated in 2010. The idea was to kind of help the commercial banks and providing long-term funding and taking out their finances. Then 2012 was another significant year in the life wherein the refinance scheme was introduced, as well as two more subsidiaries were started. First was the IIFCL Projects Limited, and another subsidiary was in India Infrastructure Asset Management Company Limited. So these two subsidiaries were given birth in 2012. And 2013 is a landmark year in the life of this institution because it was registered as an NBFC, which is directly functional under Reserve Bank of India. So I think there was a directional change as regards the institution is concerned. Now we are known as a NBFC, Infrastructure Finance, and we are directly monitored and controlled by Reserve Bank of India. In 2015, we did first credit enhanced bond with IIFCL guarantee. This is again a unique product which is unique to this institution, where the role of credit enhancement was initiated with the help of Department of Economic Affairs. This initiative we took. In the country, I think today we are the only institution which provides credit enhancement, and which actually is a good fillip to the private sector projects wherein the government institution is providing guarantee, and it helps in reducing the cost of borrowing for that institution. In 2017, sir, we stood at, our sanctions were close to 1 lakh crore. Now from 2017, if we see now 2022, we have a amount of more than 2 lakh crore gross sanctions we stand, and we have a record disbursements also. And also we started forays into new investments in bonds and InvITs. So if we see this journey chart, sir, I think in last 3 years, the real adulthood has been achieved in last couple of years, wherein we have crossed, I think, double the amount of sanctions which were there in the initial about 10, 12 years, 15 years of our journey. Now we come to the impact creation, how much impact IIFCL has created. In energy, this is one of the sectors, sir, where we have placed large bets. 66 gigawatt of energy of India today is financed by us. We have sanctions of more than 59,000 crore, and if we come to the installed capacity, it is 17% of total energy capacity in India is funded by IIFCL. In terms of green energy, if we say green energy, we have 16 gigawatt, which comes to about 10%. So what we hear now, the talk of green bonds, IIFCL has been, I would say, the pioneer in funding green energy for last more than 5 years or 6 years. It also includes, we have been pioneer in waste to energy initiatives also. I know in last 2 years, sir, I've seen that we have about 20 such accounts where waste to energy projects, which are of very small size, including less than 5 crores. We have funded about 20 such projects in our journey. So if we see in terms of total landscape of countries' projects, we have more than 670 projects which we have financed, and out of which 500 projects have been in purely on PPP landscape. So if we talk of truly public-private partnership, I think IIFCL has been the pioneering institution in the country which has such a huge exposure towards PPP projects. And we have, I think, it would not be wrong to say, probably this institution can boast of having the most capable talent base in terms of evaluation of infrastructure projects is concerned. I think we are very close to SBI, probably can be the only nationalized bank which can boast of such a huge talent base which I have. Further, sir, apart from energy, we have exposure in roads, airports, and ports. If we talk of roads, about 21%. If talk of airports, I think all the major airports we see the name Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Noida, and Goa. So we are there. In ports, 33% of ports we are there, sir. In urban infra, these are the latest forays which we have made in last few years. Is metro rail we are funding, and apart from that, IIFCL has the satisfaction of being the lead lender in the India's first railway station redevelopment project, that is Habibganj in Bhopal. We not only co-financed the project, but we were the lead lender in that project, where no other nationalized bank came forward to have the kind of project appraisal strength which we did. And in terms of job creation, sir, we have about 1.5 crore job creation, because most of the infrastructure projects are in the rural areas. So in a way, we can say we have made a huge impact, be it any area of our economy. Now, these are the just a snapshot of 2022. In last 3 years, we have participated in all the major infrastructure projects, whether it is in airport, whether it is on roads. Roads, we are in Ganga Expressway, and toll roads also, in renewable also. These are the few names, including city gas distribution, we are there in AGP City Gas. So I'm not just going through the list what is there. It is just for your consumption. But in the recently, I'll say that one strategic investment we have made is in tunnels also. This is APCO Shri Amarnathji Tunnelway, which is of strategic importance to country. Sir, in few words, sir, I would say when we were 15, like any teenager human being, the institution was at loggerheads. Now at the age of 18, the institution has, I think, matured into truly an adult, and is behaving like a responsible institution. In last 3 years, that metaphor change has come into the functioning of the institution, as the figures speak, sir. And in the green field, we are apart from the sectors, sir, our contribution in green field is through project lending as well as through the subordinate debt. If we see, the figures are there, more than 1 lakh crore, and disbursements are close to 50,000 crore. So subordinate debt is also one unique product wherein we have been taking a part of the equity as part of debt. Then we are there in the brownfield in the form of takeout finance, in the form of credit enhancement. Again, good figures are there. In the asset monetization field, sir, this is a new area where we have participated in the government initiative of asset national monetization plan. We are helping the developers take out their equity, and we are helping in churning out of the equity by the developed owners by bringing in new set of owners who are coming in, who are interested in operating the assets. So we have taken investments in InvITs, loans, InvIT bonds, as well as project bonds of infrastructure projects. The difference is people may say that there are bonds by the infrastructure developers, but sir, we are there for the longer tenor of the bonds. We are there typically for 7-year, 10-year, 11-year, 13-year. In fact, we were the lead investor in NHAI bonds, which we hit the market recently, and we were the only providers for 17-year and 19-year tenor of bonds. Whereas mutual fund space and banks are there typically in 3 to 5-year tenor of bonds. So that is what value we carry to the market. In terms of institutional credit, we are providing refinance to the other brother institutions who are in the providing institutional credit like REC, PFC, and HUDCO, and name a few, IRFC. This is also one area where when they need these kind of fundings, we are there to help them out by providing them the liquidity. In terms of standalone sanctions, sir, if we see again from 1,28,000 crore, that is we have taken just last 4-5 years. From 1,28,000 we have reached to 2,05,000 crores. In terms of disbursements, from 65 to 98,799. So there has been a record performance in last couple of years. Of course, it has been aided by the macroeconomic environment provided by the government, as well as some policy initiatives which have been taken by the policy makers in the ministry. These all have aided and helped us to grow in a more healthy way. Healthy way is why I say healthy way. We have not accumulated fat in terms of increasing our sanctions and disbursements, but we have been focused on keeping ourselves fit and healthy. Healthiness has come from, if we see the gross NPAs, they were 18.53, now they have been brought down to 8.8, and net NPAs have come from 9.84 to 2.71. And sir, healthy fat has been accumulated if we see the asset quality, A and above A, AA and AAA, my portfolio in June 19 was 37% of my total assets were parked in these quality assets. Now in 22, these stand at 64%. So that is where my confidence stems from, that now we are growing on a healthy pace and we are accumulating fit and healthy assets. Recoveries, of course, have aided us in showing the profitability. If we look at the profits, we were at 400, and then there was a dip in profits in 20, and now we stand at 700 crore plus profits. And return on, not only sir profits, return on equity, which could be which is one of the very critical parameter about the financial health of an institution. Return on equity stands at 4.59%, and on assets also it stands at 0.91. So, but nonetheless, sir, we are not hungry for returns. We look to participate in a big way in the economic development of the country, and we are conscious of the responsibility that the government has bestowed upon us, that we should look not purely at the commercial returns, but I can say we are purely commercially sustainable financial infrastructure institution in the country, and we are really proud to be part of this family, sir. Other highlights, if we see first credit enhancement bond, I had already said, sir, there has been a case where some stressed assets have been there in our economic landscape. So we have helped the projects which were under development by being the first institution to put harmonious substitution. Harmonious substitution has been one of the challenging areas for the government as well as for the authorities. So we have been successfully able to put, by taking the developer out and bringing in a new developer for completing the project, so that our economic development doesn't suffer. Another initiative we have taken is online project monitoring system. It provides us through drones and cameras and those kind of AI and ML we have used in this, and we are going ahead with this project monitoring tools. Another milestone which we have, or key highlight, is we have been dependent on to multilateral institutions like World Bank, ADB, to the extent of our, or JICA, to the extent of about 40-45% of our long-term financial needs. And also, sir, we hold a chair of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, so we are discharging our responsibility towards international forums where we are acting as a think tank. And for the first time, sir, we did one capacity building program last year when we visited Uzbekistan. In I think last 15 or 14 years of this institution's history, for the first time, IIFCL took the initiative and we trained our counterparts in Uzbekistan to help them and understand the nuances of public-private partnership projects, as well as how to monitor the project progress. I introduced them this online project monitoring system, and we offered them free of cost to them to develop our smaller countries, how they can grow in this area. Another few policy initiatives are mentioned, so I'll not go into detail. Last but not least, sir, this is another our subsidiary, IIFCL Projects Limited, where we are running a number of mandates for 10 program PMUs are running, and in Tamil Nadu, Meghalaya, Manipur, and in the Central Ministry of MSME, we are doing, sir, remarkable projects there, which are going to change the landscape of the functioning in the area of micro, small, and medium industries. And we are also doing project advisory services and helping them in resource mobilization through those. Apart from that, we are also doing capacity building programs. We did one program for Department of Economic Affairs, wherein all the state government machineries which are involved in execution of infrastructure projects, they were also trained by our organization, this IPL project. So recently, we have made forays in the area of Department of Space, wherein we have got accreditation and mandate from Department of Space for transfer of, we did the transactional advisory as well as we did the hand-holding by transferring the satellites from ISRO to NCIL, which is a government-owned company. The total valuation as well as the documentation was done by IPL. Sir, we visited recently. The Department of Space has also engaged us in providing advisory on setting up of an office in Gift City. They are keen that they should be setting up so that Forex earnings will go to them, and we are helping them in those initiatives as well. So, sir, with this, I think being an 18-year-old institution, since I think in last 2-3 years, before two of us joined in 2020, it was the institution was some performance lag. If we see, it was because the institution was under foster care. There were no regular parents available to the institution. So that is why there was a slackness in performance. But sir, moral of the story is if full-time parents are available to institution, the institution prospers well. With these words, I welcome you and thank you very much, sir.